All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rachag Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the GMS who rule well. And also honor and salutations to those of you who are of the hopeful elect and are out there teaching the word in sincerity and truth. All right, so today I wanted to talk about, there was a summit of some sort. I don't know all the details, but I take it there was a summit of some sort in front of CNN headquarters with Hebrew Israelites, or people that are in the truth, or at least have a form of it. I'll say that. And if you take it for face value, you think to yourself, they was standing up for the word. They was standing up for the truth, and they were bold. They were courageous, they were brave, and what have you. But that's not what this thing is about. America, I want to so badly say that America has tainted what masculinity is, but that type of behavior is not old. It's actually quite ancient, and zealots of the past have had that same mentality, and nothing good ever comes from it, so all in all, I want to say this, being an antagonist don't make you brave, and being bold doesn't make you brave. I'll say this. I won't go to the scripture. I'll just paraphrase. But Saul became king, and he was commanded to go in to the Amalekites and smite them all, men, women, children, animals, and to leave not one thing alive. Right? And you know what? I have to get that. What is it? Is it obedience better than sacrifice? Maybe I'm spelling obedience wrong. Let me just do it like this. Keep it simple. Bear with me for a second. Bear with me for 1 second. That wouldn't even be that far up. Let's see what we got here. Maybe 1 Samuel. Bear with me for 1 second, brothers. I just want to find the scripture I'm looking for. I think this is it right here. Right, obey. I forget what I even put just then. I said I wasn't gonna go to it, but since I took so much time, I'll go ahead and read it. So this is 1 Samuel 15:15. Now, as the story goes, which most of you know, as I said, Saul was commanded to go into the Amalekites and kill everything, right? But here's what ensued. So this is 1 Samuel 15:15. It says, and Saul said, they have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto the Lord thy power, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. Then Samuel said unto Saul, stay, and I will tell thee what the Lord hath said to me this night. And he said unto him, say on. And Samuel said, when thou wast little in thine own sight, wast thou not made the head of the tribes of Israel, and the Lord anointed thee king over Israel? And the Lord sent thee on a journey and said, go and utterly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they be consumed. Wherefore, then, didst thou not obey the voice of the Lord, and didst fly upon the spoil, and didst evil in the sight of the Lord? And Saul said unto Samuel, yea, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord, and have gone the way which the Lord sent me, and have brought Agag the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites. But the people took of the spoil sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice unto the Lord thy power in Gilgal. And Samuel said, have the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. So the point I'm trying to make here is that the Lord told us to do this thing a certain way. Go ye out to the highways and byways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage. As the elder apostle Gabar, let me make sure I'm saying this right. No, I'm sorry. The elder apostle Tahar said recently, the word is enough, right? Right. Let me show you this. Let me show you something. Show you something. Right. This is John 10:27. It says, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. So all you need is the word, man. You don't need anything extra. You don't need any gimmicks, right? All you need is the scriptures, the truth of the scriptures, right? And your garment in a 12 tribe sign. Very simple, very basic in what it takes to bring out this truth, man. You don't have to be super exciting. You don't got to be flashy and fancy and speaking with microphones and megaphones and karaoke machines or whatever. The truth is very simple, right? And you don't need anything extra. And that's all. I'll show you the clip. That's all this was a spectacle, and really being an antagonist and a troublemaker, right? It's unnecessary, right? It's okay to be meek and low in this truth, because that's what the scriptures say we should be. It's okay to be blameless. It's okay to be meek. I'm not ashamed of being meek, right? When you watch movies or when you read novels, right? What makes for a good story is when the underdog wins, right? Everybody loves an underdog. So I personally don't mind taking the low and being the underdog. There's nothing wrong with it, So I got some scriptures here that I wanna go through that speaks to one. Going out on the highways and byways is bold enough, right? To speak against such a kingdom, to speak against such a society is bold enough in the way that we do it, and we don't need anything extra, right? And then two, to show you that, taking the low, right, and being away from fame and being away from attention is what the Lord Yahushua did, right? And we are to follow the example of the Lord Yahushua, because that's what he was put here for, the example of how to be as a man who's trapped in the flesh, right? He was susceptible to the same ideas that we are, because he was in the flesh, right? But he was without sin, and we are to use that example and try to follow that example. Okay. So let me go ahead and read these scriptures. By the way, the brothers on the chat was on fire. They were on fire, man, and I was like, you know what? I'm go ahead and take these scriptures and write them down, and I'm gonna do a show on it. So, this is what we have here. This is Proverbs 22, and I'll start at 3. It says, "A prudent man foreseeth the evil, and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished." Right? So you have, let's look up this word prudent. Let's do that. Right? Because what is prudent? Being prudent. What does that mean? Right? Check this out. Prudent, crafty, subtle, or subtile. This is subtle. I'm sorry. Subtile. Subtle, shrewd, crafty, sly, sensible. You see? Let's look up some of these words. See what Google has to say. Subtle, especially of a change or distinction, so delicate or precise as to be difficult to analyze or describe. What does that remind you of, right? When the Lord was brought before Pilate, and the Lord didn't say anything to him, he was like, "Yo, don't you hear these people saying these things against you? You don't have nothing to say?" He couldn't analyze. He couldn't wrap his mind around why the Lord Yahushua was behaving the way he was behaving. These dudes want you dead. These people want you dead, and you don't have nothing to say for yourself. He couldn't wrap his mind around it. And that's the behavior we have to be in, man. Subtle. Because the Lord is going to fight for, I did a show on it recently. The Lord is going to fight for us, man. We don't have to be flamboyant. No, we can't be more flamboyant than the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. We can't be more flamboyant. So why not be meek and lowly, right? Subtle, if you will, right? So let's go back. Shrewd. Let's look up this word. Shrewd. Okay. Having or showing sharp powers of judgment. That's all right there. You have to have a level of judgment and to navigate through this world, especially in this spiritual war that we're in, man. You have to know how to attack, where your enemy's weakest points are, right? And fighting like he fights, we're gonna lose every time. Our best bet is to stay spiritual and follow what the scriptures say. That's our best bet. And let the Lord fight our battles, man. What better fighter do we have than Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, man? Okay? Look at that. Astute, sharp-witted, right? Acute, intelligent, clever, right? Man. So let's go back to this again. Right? So crafty, sly, sensible, right? So that's what being prudent means, man. And how do you show your prudence? Right? When you foresee evil, you hide yourself. You don't need to, something is dangerous and you gonna make it more dangerous. The Lord told us what to do, and in that we're still gonna face that same danger. But what are you trying to do? Are you trying to force the Lord's hand? Right? All right, so let me read this. Verse 4, it says, by humility and the fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life. You see? Thorns and snares are in the way of the froward. He that doth keep his soul shall be far from them. You see? When you keep your soul, you keep your humility, right? You exercise prudence. You keep yourself out of trouble, man. You don't need to be in Esau's face antagonizing him, man. We don't need to do that. We're already we're already doing that at a level that's sufficient enough to get us out of here. We don't need to do anything extra. Okay. So this is let me go to the next one. Oops. This is Proverbs 12. 12 and 23. Okay. It says this: a prudent man concealeth knowledge, but the heart of fools proclaimeth foolishness. Right? Out there telling everybody what you know. Take the low, man. Do your classroom shows. I mean, granted, you know, you were on the highways and byways, but you know, all up in front of the from front of CNN. What the fuck are y'all doing, man? You know, people, they ain't satisfied with what Yahweh Shai did. They're not satisfied. These are the same people that even in being on the Lord Yahweh Shai's side would have called him a punk because he always took the low. These would be that type of, oh man, you soft, man. You ain't the Lord. How you gonna be the Lord? You soft. Imagine that, man. That's the mentality that we should have. I'm saying not the niggas, but the Lord Yahweh Shai. He is second in command of all the universe and had the power to take. Man, I'm putting the number 12. This is Matthew 26 and 53, right? Matter of fact, let me go up in there, see if there's anything I can read. Oh, this is perfect. Yeah, 51. And behold, one of them which were with Yahushua stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck a servant of the high priest and smote off his ear. Then said Yahushua unto him, put up again thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. You see? See? Thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels? But how then shall the scriptures be fulfilled that thus it must be? You see? So he took the low. I can end this thing right now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take the low. I'm going to be the humble servant and let the Lord's will be done. You know, you got, you know, people asking for trouble, man. You know, and that's not the way to be. Let me see. I read this already. All right, let me go to this next one. It doesn't even feel like I've been going 18 minutes already. Lamentations 3, the 26th verse. This is Lamentations 3 and 26. It says, it is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord. You know? It's just these people to go up in their job and telling Esau they the devil. It just ain't there's no tact, you know? No finesse. Don't the scriptures tell us to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves? But you want to be a damn dove. You flapping your wings in Esau's face, chirping and shit in front of Esau. You know, go sit down somewhere, man. You know, I'm gonna just keep going with these scriptures, man. I don't need to do much talking because these scriptures was powerful, man. I was in there reading them scriptures like I was watching a Mayweather fight. This is Second Ezra's 4, and I'll just scroll through. Second Ezra's 4 and 33. It says this. Then I answered and said, how and when shall these things come to pass? Wherefore are our years few and evil? Right? And he answered me, saying, do not thou hasten above the Most Highest, for thy haste is in vain to be above him, for thou hast much exceeded. Man, look at that. Listen to this. Did not the souls also of the righteous ask questions of these things in their chambers, saying, how long shall I hope for this fashion? When cometh the fruit of the floor of our reward? You see? And unto these things Uriel the archangel gave them answer, and said, even when the number of seeds is filled in you, for he hath weighed the whole world in the balance, by measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times, and he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. So why force the hand of the Heavenly Father, man? He knows what he's doing. You just keep your patience. You keep teaching the word. You keep putting out your shows, and just sit back and watch this thing unfold, man. It's like those, you got these. I watched this movie. What's this movie that came out recently? The Mule. And he was this guy was a gardener, and there was a flower that he loved, and it only bloomed one time a year. So he would sit out there and just for hours on end waiting for this flower to bloom. Same thing that happened in it's a kids movie. I haven't seen it in years, but the movie Dennis the Menace, when they did the live action version of Dennis the Menace, and they had Mr. Wilson. He had that flower in his yard, and they had like this big a picnic or whatever for when the flower bloomed, so that everybody could watch it bloom, because it was a very rare thing to see, right? And that's how we should be, man. We should be sitting back waiting for that flower to bloom, because it's going to bloom, right? What do the scriptures say? It says, I think that's it. Let me take, yep. It's Habakkuk 2:3. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. You see? So we just sit back and wait for the flower to bloom. What do we need to rush? We're going to rush the flower, mess around and kill it. It's like this, right? When you go to the airport, right? What do they tell you? They tell you to get there 2 hours early, right? Account for long lines in the security lines, right? But once you get to your gate, you kind of just sitting there waiting for your plane to come, right? You know your plane's going to come. You go and you check the little screen there to see if your flight is on schedule, right? What is that semblant of? Us going and looking at the news and reading the current events, seeing the prophecies come to pass. Yep, our flight is on schedule. And then you go sit back in your seat, right? You might get up and get a bag of potato chips, or go, to, the restaurant or something like that, get you a slice of pizza. But what you do after you eat your pizza, you go sit down and you wait for your plane, man. And that's what this truth is like. You don't need to do more than what was commanded us. Just pick up your Bible, go out on highways and byways, teach the word, right? Teach the truth, and then go home and wait for your plane, man. We get ready to get out of here. You sit back and you relax and you wait for your ride out of here, man. You wait for your plane ride, man. That's it. We at the gate right now, it's funny, man. I'm thinking of how hectic. So when you get into the airport, right? You kind of like you kind of on the move, right? You park your car or whatever in the garage or whatever. You get out of your car, you get your bags out, and you kind of got that brisk walk, right? That fast walk, and you walk and you walk and you walk and you walk and so you get into the airport, and then all you see is just chaos. Right, you see all these people walking around, bumping into each other, getting around each other. Excuse me. Oh, what? Did you see me standing there? My fucking kids are here. Then you get up there, you get your ticket, and you're going through security. The security guards is moving you through. The dogs is walking through to check the bags to see if there's any weaponry or drugs or whatever, or explosives in the bags. And boom, then you walk in, you get to your gate, and then it's calm. It's just this calmness when you get to your gate and you just waiting for your plane. Everybody that's at the gate, they ain't nobody moving around all hectic. They just waiting for their plane, man. They just waiting for their plane, and that's what this truth is like. You know, you're out in the parking garage and you're looking for the right directions to get to your gate, to get to your airline, to get to your terminal, right? But once you find your terminal and you find the direction, you stay in that direction, you fight through the chaos, and then you get to that calm right now where we're at, right? The calm before the storm, and we waiting for that flight, man. That's it, man. It's very simple. You don't have to make it any harder than it is, man. You don't have to make it any harder than it is. You know? So let me I ramble. I didn't mean to go on that rant like that. So this is Matthew's 10, right? And I'll go to the 23rd verse, right to the 23rd verse. It says this: but when they persecute you in this city, flee into another. Now, would you say that the Lord is telling us to be punks because we're running? Flee into another. For verily I say unto you, ye shall not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man be come. Right? So are we punks for this mentality? You be the judge. Right? So I wanted to read another scripture, right, that spoke to this, because like I said, the Lord wasn't about when you read in the scriptures about big crowds and stirring up trouble. You know, if there was any stir, it was because of his simple work, not due to him being rowdy. You didn't see, you know, the Lord Yahushua and we going up to, you know, Caesar's palace, you know, we gonna teach out there. That's what we gonna know. He was in remote locations, spent a lot of time in mountains and the Garden of Gethsemane, right? He spent a lot of time in remote locations. He wasn't out in the public, and when he saw it getting rowdy, what'd he do? He dipped out, man. Why is it so wrong to follow that example? Now I've had the grace and blessing to be around the elder apostles, man, and they live very simple lives. They're quiet men. They're respectable when they're out and about in the world. If you saw them, you would never know. If you didn't know them and you saw them in the world, you wouldn't know who they are, what they do, what they're into, because they treat everybody the same. Edomites, doesn't matter who they are, they're respectful to everybody. And there's nothing wrong with being low key in that way, man. That's a great example to follow. Okay, so this is Luke 4:28. It says, and all they in the synagogue, when they heard these things, were filled with wrath, and rose up and thrust him out of the city, and led him unto the brow of the hill whereon their city was built, that they might cast him headlong. But he, passing through the midst of them, went his way. Right? So he dipped into the crowd and got out of there, man. What was he? Oh, who should they going? He could have, whoever was trying to throw him off the cliff, off the edge of the city, he could have killed them with one pop of the finger. Ended their life, man. But what did he do? He dipped out, man. He dipped away. That's the mentality we gotta have, man. They're already gonna come and attack us just because we say we're Israelites. We don't need to do any more than that. So let me get this last one, and then I'll get out of here. I'll tell you what, this didn't feel like no 30-minute show. I went straight through that. Let's do. I'll go right to it. So I'll start here, and then I'll read into the 5th chapter. This is Matthew 4:24. It says, and his fame went throughout all Syria, and they brought unto him all sick people that were taken with diverse diseases and torments, and those which were possessed with devils, and those which were lunatic, and those that had the palsy, and he healed them. And there followed him great multitudes of people from Galilee and from Decapolis and from Jerusalem and from Judea and from beyond Jordan. And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain, and when he was set, his disciples came unto him, and he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Right? Blessed. Let me look up that word, poor in spirit. Poor in spirit. Right? I'll play it. I should have played the last one I looked up.
Strong's G 4434. Tochas.
Tochas. Okay.
Tochas.
Tochas. Which is poor, beggar, poor man, beggarly, right? Reduced to beggary, begging, asking alms, destitute of wealth, influence, position, honor, lowly, afflicted, destitute of the Christian virtues and eternal riches, helpless, powerless to accomplish an end, poor, needy, right? So you, in other words, take the low, man, right? Not the you all up. Imagine that. Did the Lord Yahushua take the 12 apostles, the 12 disciples at the time? Did he take them up to Caesar's palace? Did he take them up to where Pontus be at? You Edomite, Pontus, you gonna die. They didn't do that, right? So it says, blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. You see that? Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see the Most High. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of the Most High. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. You see? Persecuted for righteousness' sake, not for niggerness' sake. Righteousness' sake. You don't have to be no aggressive man to suffer persecution, to be fit for the truth, man. We're already going to be persecuted. You don't need to do anything else. All right? Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you and say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. All right. So hopefully that was edifying, man. It was for me when them brothers was rattling off them scriptures, because I'll say this in honesty. When I saw the clip, I had mixed feelings about it, because I'm like, yeah, okay, they out there getting down, teaching the word, but there was something in my spirit that was uncomfortable about it. And as the conversation unfolded, I got a level of understanding of why it made me uncomfortable. Right? And we get wrapped up in thinking that we scared, but it's not that you're scared. Your spirit is telling you, keep it simple, man. Keep it simple. Who cares if somebody says you're scared? Who cares? If you're a man of the Lord and you've been out there teaching the word, there ain't no fear in you. That you can't be afraid and do the work on the highways and byways. You can't be. All right. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom.